The Book That Fell from the Sky, a story about a mysterious book that fell from the sky in pre-colonial Nigeria. In 1914, in a quiet village in Nigeria, just about the time before the nation was created, something happened that no one can still explain. A miracle, Emefe Orogene, as the people called. The village was called Araya, deep in the Isoko region of what is now called Delta State in Nigeria. One morning after heavy rainfall, a woman named Esievo went to check on the yams she had harvested the day before. She had left the yams in the open, hoping the rains would fall and wash the sand off the yams. But as she drew closer, she saw something flipping on top of the heap of yams. There, on top of the soaked, muddy yams, she saw it. A big black book with white pages flipping as the gentle breeze blew across the farm. Back then, books weren't common, as only the colonizers owned books. The book was dry and looked as if it had just been placed there. Esievo stood from a distance looking at it. She got drenched, but the book's pages still flickered in the rain. Everything around it was soaked. The yams were wet. The earth was muddy, but the book stayed dry. Esievo ran back into the community to call her husband and the elders of the community. As she ran through farms, alarmed, many other women and men working in their farmers ran after her, thinking a wild beast or warring tribes were attacking them. Other women joined in, while the men grabbed objects they could use as weapons to defend themselves. Eventually, she got to her hut and ran into her husband's shrine. Her children and other wives ran to the shrine as well and started offering prayers. Esievo told her husband what she had seen, and he quickly took her before the village elder, who listened to her and then selected a few young men and elders to accompany her and her husband to the farm. By then, the rains had picked up, and they were all soaked as they marched to her farm. The small group was led by Ewobo, the only man who knew some English. They drew close to the heap of yams upon getting to the farm, and they saw the book was still very dry. Ewobo chanted something under his breath and picked the book off the heap of yams. His wet hands dripped water on the book, but the water bounced off the pages. They then carried it before the chief, who instructed them to take it to the only white man who lived not so far from them, at Patani. The man was Henry Proctor, a reverend who came as a missionary. Reverend Proctor examined the book. He smiled and dropped it on his desk, telling them he would investigate how the book had arrived at their farm. He told them to return in 2 weeks for an answer, but when they came back, the Reverend was gone. He had left for England and never returned. He died on the journey, and the book vanished. But that year something else happened. A child was born in Araya. Cornelius Adam Ibudu was his name, and he would grow to become one of Nigeria's greatest evangelists. The villagers believed it was all connected. Today, a white chapel stands at the exact spot where the book appeared. Visitors come not to ask questions, but to stand in awe. Was it a miracle, a sign, or a mystery waiting to be understood? If you ever find yourself in Delta State, visit Araya, see where the book lay untouched by rain, and decide for yourself, did something holy happen here? Or did the white man forget the book on the farm? But if he did, how come the book never got wet?